Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Bonus edition.
Mm, mm, mm.
You are here with us on YouTube um on a Thursday. We are, as you are watching this, we are flying into Salem.
We are amongst the witches.
Yes. Um we are on the broomsticks. Here we
Mm-hmm.
go. So, I want to bring you a Halloween um bonus episode. One, because I want to do something kind of witchy, but two, also, the true crime on Tuesday is gonna be a tough one, so feel free to opt for this instead. I won't be
Mm-hmm.
mad. Um,
And we'll make sure to shout that out in
yes.
that one too.
I mean, I only say it probably 1,000 times. Like every time I was getting irritated with having to write it, I just wrote, I hate writing this into the
Mm-hmm.
script. All right, so we're gonna get started. On April 18th,
Wow.
1943.
Exactly when you were born.
Yes, the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
Four young boys were bird nesting in Hagley Wood near Wychbury Hill on an estate belonging to Lord Cobham. That means they were looking for birds' nests.
Oh, cute.
That's all. Yeah. While
Frog
there,
gigging,
yeah,
which is different, I guess, than
yeah, they're
the
not
gig isn't
killing.
where they live. Yeah.
Yeah. While there, they found a large wych elm, which they thought would probably contain a good amount of bird's nests. So a wych elm is like an ancient tree. They're they can be pretty big. Um, I'm not totally sure why they're called that. Also, it's spelled Wych,
Mm.
and it's on it's near Wychbury Hill. So I don't know if that's related to why it's called that. I
Oh,
don't know.
sure.
But they were like, oh, there's gonna be so many birds' nests in here. So one of the boys climbed up the tree, and when he looked down into the hollow trunk of the tree, he saw a skull.
Mm.
And at first, he thought it must have been an animal skull, but then he saw what looked like human teeth and hair attached to the skull. So he
Mm.
scurried on down that tree.
He said goodbye.
Yeah, but the boys decided that since they were on private property illegally, they would keep their discovery to themselves. But then when they got home, one of the boys felt very uneasy about it and told his parents. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not keeping that to myself."
Mm-hmm.
So
It's us.
yeah, police checked the trunk of the tree and found a mostly complete skeleton, missing only a few teeth and one hand. They also found one shoe,
Mm.
a gold wedding ring, some fragments of clothing, and tufts of hair in the trunk of the tree. The missing hand had been found some distance from the tree. The body was sent for forensic examination and was found to have belonged to a female who had been deceased for at least 18 months. So this
Mm.
meant they were looking at a timeline of the death being on or before October of 1941. The forensic pathologist also discovered a piece of taffeta in the mouth of the skull. I have so many typos in this. I said they found a show and in the mouth of the skill.
Mm.
They found a piece of taffeta in the mouth
Mhm.
of the skull, which led him to believe that their victim had died from suffocation. He also believed that her body had been placed inside the tree very shortly after she was killed. Because of the size of the trunk of the tree where she was found, rigor mortis could not have set in yet. Like, basically, they said
Mm.
that she was only 5 feet tall, so she's not a big woman. But basically, they said, like, in order to fit in there, she would have had to still be warm so that her body could have, like, kind of folded in on itself. Because if rigor mortis had set in, like, it would have broken some things.
Oh, okay.
Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, so like they're just saying when she was put in the tree, she had not been dead for a long time.
Yes, specifically it said she was still warm when she was put in the tree because her body had been like
malleable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we went on field trip yesterday and I was watching my kids on the way home on the bus. I'm like, they're like made of Play-Doh, man. Like their necks are like the way they sleep. That's what it made me think of. So yes, like she just was more flexible. Um, so police used the evidence that was found with the body to identify what the woman would have looked like in life. I'm not sure what that means. Because it said they found a shoe, some clothes, and a wedding ring. And what I've seen,
And
it
hair?
looks like, and hair, yes. From what I've seen, it looks like maybe they did like a facial reconstruction based on the bone structure and the clothing.
Okay.
To kind of show like what she would have looked like on the day she disappeared or died. So they had an idea of what she would have looked like, but they couldn't find anything with a name for her. She had unique dental features because she was missing several teeth, and so they used that to attempt to narrow down their search, but it wasn't successful. And basically what they said, and like I had never thought of this, but at the time that this happened, so many people had gone missing because of World War II that it was almost impossible to identify a Jane or John Doe. Like,
interesting.
yeah, they were like, there's just so many like missing persons reports. It's so hard to narrow it down, or people were going missing so often that people stopped reporting it.
Yeah. But I also wonder, like, how at that point do you really determine, like, that her, I don't know, like, I guess, how do you know that her missing teeth are, like, representative of what her dental profile looked like when she was alive versus, like, she lost them when she was killed, or animals came, you know what I mean? Like, I just,
Yeah,
I
know.
don't know.
I wonder if it has something to do with like the space where the missing teeth are, like if there's something that can prove, I don't know. I don't know. It's also the 40s, so like how
they probably just had to go
much
off what
did they
could.
know about about people like dental forensic odontology. In 1944, residents in the area of Birmingham, I'm guessing it's probably pronounced like Birmingham, but we're from the South, began to notice strange graffiti appearing around town. So someone had written, "Who put Lubella down the Wych Elm?" at Hayden Hill Road in the village of Old Hill. Then, on a wall in Upper Dean Street in Birmingham, someone had written, "Who put Bella down the Wych Elm, Hagley Wood?" And police took the graffiti seriously and linked it to their Jane Doe. They felt like it wasn't just pranksters because the words were always written so high up. It couldn't have been done by a child. I don't know why they are under the impression that adults can't do a silly little prank.
Yeah.
But since 1970, the graffiti, and it'd be popping up all over the place. Since 1970, though, the graffiti has really been condensed to the Hagley obelisk. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, that word, yeah.
Where near where the body was found, and it just is like cleaned and then done again. Who put Bella in the Wych Elm? So that's also interesting. There's like if you look it up, it's just so many different pictures of like spray paint. And like I think it's still on the obelisk now. So there are a few theories of who Bella was and what may have happened to her. That's what they call her now, is Bella.
Or Lubella.
Or Lubella.
Cute.
So actually I'm gonna start with the one that they've debunked. And then we'll do the ones that are possible. So okay. One theory is that Bella was the lover of an Abwehr agent. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It's Abwehr.
No
Named
idea.
named Joseph Jacobs. He was the last man put to death in the Tower of London. Okay, so he's a notable figure now.
Okay.
Jacobs had parachuted into Cambridgeshire in 1941, but broke his ankle upon landing and was arrested by the Home Guard. They found a photo in his possession of a German cabaret singer and actress named Clara Bauerl. Bauerl.
Clara Bow.
I know. Jacobs claimed that Clara was a spy and his lover, who may have parachuted into England after him, but there was no evidence of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Clara was 6 feet tall,
Mm.
an entire foot taller than the body found in the tree. And
The
then,
theory is that she just parachuted into the tree?
yeah.
Okay.
And then in September of 2016, this theory was officially debunked because it was confirmed that Clara Bauerl had died in Berlin in 1942. So now to the possible theories. So there are quite a few. One possible victim was reported to the police in 1944 after the discovery of the remains. A sex worker from Birmingham came forward and said that another sex worker she had frequently worked with on Hagley Road had disappeared 3 years prior, like in 1941.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said that her name was Bella.
Oh.
And so she thought it was possible that that was her friend. That's all we know, though.
Oh,
So
okay.
don't have any theories about what happened to her, just that that she died. She disappeared.
Yeah.
I think that this and the next theory could be linked, though. In 1953, a woman named Una Mossop came forward and said that her ex-husband, Jack Mossop, had confessed that he and a Dutchman named Van Ralt had put a woman in the tree.
Oh.
She claimed that Mossop and Van Ralt had met for a drink at a pub in Hagley and picked up a woman,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps a sex worker named Bella,
Mm-hmm.
that worked on Hagley Road. The story goes that the woman became drunk and passed out during their drive from the pub, and the men claimed that they placed her in the tree as a warning, hoping that when she woke up in the tree, it would frighten her into not overindulging anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, doing the Lord's work, actually.
Yes. This is exactly what we need as men to
Right.
teach us self-restraint with alcohol.
Una thought, my man on his willpower is something I do not understand.
No.
Jack Mossop was actually eventually confined to a mental hospital in Stafford because he had been suffering recurring dreams of a woman staring at him from inside a tree.
Oh.
But he passed away before the body in the Wych Elm was even discovered.
Oh.
So he like gets sent to this mental hospital for having this recurring dream. He passes away there, and
All
then
within
they
18 months?
find yes.
Wow.
And then they find these remains, but then his ex-wife doesn't come forward until 10 years later to say
Yeah.
that he had told her that he had hidden or that he had put a woman there. But also, wouldn't that make sense if she was put in the trunk alive?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they put taffeta in her mouth and left that part out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It does sound like something that like a psychotic person would do. Be like, drinking is bad. We should
Right.
just put her in a tree.
Right. And like that's separate
And
from my
didn't
drinking.
didn't do anything to her. And maybe
Yes, of
his
course.
friend put the taffeta in her mouth.
Yeah.
Or like, we know these stories all the time where like two people will put a body somewhere and one will leave and the other will go back because now
Yeah.
they know where it is.
Yeah, I even wonder if, because like her clothes were just like remnants of clothes, if something happened where she was wearing something made of taffeta, because taffeta
Mm,
is a fabric, right?
yeah.
And like, did she somehow inhale it or like put it in her mouth,
Yeah.
like after she was left there? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, over
Um,
18 months, like, birds could rip it off. It could
yeah,
fall into her open skull mouth,
right,
you know.
yeah. An anthropologist and archaeologist at University College,
Beautiful.
redundant, in London believed that this woman was killed in an occult ritual. She explained that there was a Romani ritual called the Hand of Glory, named after a man who was hanged for murder. In the ritual, his left hand was cut off as a symbol of the hand that did the deed. And so she was suggesting that maybe that is why her hand was missing, that she had been part of this ritual and she had been being punished for something. And then the final theory was that the woman in the Wych Elm was a Dutch woman named Clarabella Dronkers. In 1953, someone came forward claiming that Clarabella had been killed by a German spy ring made up of a British officer, a Dutchman, and a music hall artist for knowing too much. About what?
Mm,
I don't know. Um,
casualty of war.
yeah. In 2014, there was a case review still open by the West Mercia police, and that was closed. Um, in 2018, the case was featured on a television program called Nazi Murder Mysteries.
Cool.
And in that show, they did a forensic facial reconstruction um, from Liverpool John Moores University's Face Lab. And basically, they took photographs of the skull and they put put a facial reconstruction together. And it was paid for by a man named Andrew Spark, who used the facial reconstructions for his book about the Wych Elm case. And then in May of 2023, the BBC launched an appeal to museums to track down the victims' remains so that they could carry out DNA analysis because um, until the 60s or 70s, the remains had been in the Birmingham City Police's Black Museum at their Tally-Ho training center.
Okay.
So in 2023, the BBC appealed to get the remains found because they don't know where they are currently. And they want to do that because they are making a podcast on the case called The Body in the Tree. And they would like to use the remains to do DNA analysis to be featured on the podcast.
Mm.
So that is the end.
Wow.
Short one, obviously, because it's a bonus. Um, but yeah, I think it's like maybe a combination of those first two theories, like that
Mm-hmm.
this was a sex worker, she disappeared, and this is how she disappeared. It's just, and but I think about this a lot that like, because I was watching the Hulu documentary on Ellen Greenberg, and they said like, well, it's so strange because like her boyfriend comes home, he's locked out of the apartment and she's inside and she's been killed, but like the door is locked. And so like how did they get in and out? What is happening? And it's like and somebody said like it is possible that someone leaves through the front door and the it's like a hotel lock that they have on their door that it swings. Like it doesn't happen often, but
Mm-hmm.
it could. And I think about that a lot in these cases. Like, what are the odds that some of these like cases that are unsolved, that it's like one thing that you don't even think about, but it could happen.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how
The
taffeta
one
ended
thing
up in her
you think
mouth.
like rules other things out, and like, what
Right,
if that thing was a fluke?
right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how taffeta got in her mouth, but like, there's plenty of possibilities that don't
Yeah.
involve someone stuffing it in their mouth, her mouth, or they just left that part out.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, like, over 18 months, like, obviously I hate to think that other people had found her body and, like, not reported it, but it's
Right.
like, it could have.
But,
They could
like, I
have
think,
done that. But
yeah.
I
I think
think,
even it's possible that an animal carried her hand away,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think, like, I think that sounds very likely, and all of it sounds very, like, perfectly aligned. Like,
Mhm.
her name is Bella. She's a sex
Yeah.
worker right in that area. But I also think, like, how much of that is that girl working backwards and having seen
Right.
graffiti that says
Right.
Bella, and then she's like, wait a second,
Right.
my Bella. So it does make me
Yeah.
wonder, like, the people doing graffiti, like,
Yes.
how did they
Right.
know?
I have so many
Or,
questions
like,
about the graffiti.
did they just make up a name and other people ran with it? Or,
Yeah.
like, did the people doing the graffiti know who
Right.
it was? Like,
Right.
but
I
that's
have many
interesting.
questions about the graffiti.
Yeah,
I think that's
crazy.
like truly one of the most interesting parts of that
Yeah.
case
It's like
is
this
the
stuff
graffiti
just started
situation.
appearing. Does it have to be from whoever hurt her
Right.
saying, like, I know who this is?
Right.
Or is it from people who knew their friend was missing and this girl was found? Or is it literally just they just picked a name who put
Mhm.
Susie in the Wych Elm, and then some girl said, wait, I
Right.
know it's Susie?
That's true.
You know?
True,
Who
true.
knows? But I do kind of always err on, like, the side of deliberate murder, and
Yes.
especially deliberate murder of a sex worker. That's
Right.
always likely.
And deliberate murder by a man.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't trust them with nothing.
Nar.
But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed.
Yes, hope that got you in the little witchy, oh my gosh, what could it possibly be? Spooky spirit.
Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated by witch elms. Why are they
Mhm.
called that?
Mhm.
What is happening? Why are they
Yeah.
hollow inside? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.